All right, so I decided to try another knife to carry every day, at work basically. So at work I wear a fixed blade, and I'm just gonna go over. I guess this could be a tutorial, but I'm gonna go over how I do things. But if you decide to do what I'm doing, just don't. If at any point, you think it's not gonna be safe to do something, just don't do it. Um, so first I'll show you what I'm currently carrying and how I carry it. So this is what I currently carry, and it's a knife I made. It's a 7-inch blade. Overall, it's 11 and a half inches. The new one's going to be 7.5 inches, and it's part of the reason I kind of want to wear it because for future projects, I want to see if it's comfortable. Um, so I wear a Leatherman horizontal, and this is considered scout carry, but it's in the front. And my buckle, super worn out, but my buckle's right here. So I put my buckle here, and I run my belt through the loops in this. I'll show you in a second how it looks on the other side. But this is how it looks, and to take it out, it's pretty easy. And I mean, this depends on also on the how tight your Kydex sheath is too. Uh, just really quickly, the reason I chose this, um, any other type that I've tried, any other type of carry, like just a dangler or just on just carrying it like a normal, vertical way, it just gets in the way for me. Whenever I do anything, when I pivot or whatever, it's in the way, or when I'm like doing anything with my hands on the side, it gets in the way. This is so far has been perfect for me, and I wear it like this. And the reason I don't wear this in the back too, like just back here, is I just don't like having my knife. Like I don't like having a knife and then not being able to know where it's at. Like I can just look down and there it is, just in case. So, just in case you're interested in like this type of carry, I'll show you how to do it. And meanwhile, I'm gonna do it for myself then at the same time. Okay. All right. So this is how it looks in the back. So basically, my belt through here. I had to put this extra piece just because of so for the new one, I'm gonna measure the distance. So this much of knife in general sticking out from my right side is perfect for me. So the way this works, depending on where you put it on your belt, is how this basically sticks out, how much this sticks out. So if you do it small, like let's say it's just these two, then it's going to be like sticking out crazy, like a lot from like pretend this is your body. So the less contact it has, the more it's going to stick out. So if you so more contact, it's going to be flatter up against your body, wider contact, I mean. And then the closer it is, the more it's going to stick out. So I found that this distance from here to here is perfect, and then also the distance. So I'm going to measure the distance from here to here, and make sure the new pieces I put in on this knife are going to be the same distances. Same thing. The tip's going to be a little bit longer because this is a longer knife, but the main thing is this distance and then this distance. Well, okay. So this piece, and this might help for some people who might have to put this piece. I won't have to do it for this knife, but in case you do, this piece I put it because this is where the last eyelet is. But anyways, I can't go further. If I wanted to, I can't go further. I can't make it super tight out to here because then it impedes this knife to come out. It would make it really, really hard for this knife to come out because it's basically pinching the Kydex together and it's just keeping it in place more. So I had to put a piece that's kind of like loose and put it up against the leather so I can actually get the distance I want and still be able to pull this out fine. So the things that you need, put this aside. Things that you need is first of all is a knife, and I bought this used, so and I haven't sharpened it. It is sharp, but I haven't sharpened it myself, and I don't know why. I didn't do this. I don't know why they did this to this knife, but grip maybe? I don't know. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I guess. So you can do it to any knife. I mean, to any sheath, as long as you have eyelets. And you're gonna need, if you're gonna use what I'm gonna use, which is Paracord. You need them to be at least 1/4 of an inch wide. So this thing has a ton of stuff. It has eyelets and then it has these little slits. So I'm fine with this. And second of all, so you need your knife, your sheath, a piece of leather. You need at least like 9. I would recommend, you can do it with 7, I guess, 7 ounces. But I would recommend at least 9 ounces. This is about 9 ounces right here. Thickness. And just something thick, just a thick piece of leather. I'm gonna cut out. Essentially, I'm gonna cut these out right here for this. From this, you need something in the back to when you do cut your leather, to use it as for the back. I'm gonna use these scissors to round out the corners when I do cut the leather. You need paracord, a lighter, something to cut stuff. Safety glasses that look cool. Wood to like sacrificial wood to drill holes into. And then 1/4 inch bit with something to make it turn. And then like a pencil just to mark your leather and stuff so you can do your cuts. All right. So first I'm just gonna cut out the leather right now because I already know the sizes I need, and I'll show you. I'll once I mark the leather before I cut it. I'll show you in a second. All right. So the pieces that I'm gonna use are 2 inches by 1 inch, and how I got to that was basically just so I measured my belt. My belt is 1 inch and 1/4, and if you can see here the piece of leather, I have just enough room to make those 1/4 inch holes. I'm gonna have to make 1/4 inch holes, the ones that you see here. So if you have a wider piece of leather, just you're gonna have to leave. So 1 inch and 1/4, just leave like 3/4 of space extra. So the 2 inch belt, 2 inch and 3/4, or if you even if you want to keep it safe, 3 inches or whatever. So I'm gonna cut these out. I'm just gonna use just a razor, and I'll show you after I cut them all out. All right, so here I have the pieces, and I mean I can do it with the razor too, just to cut the corners off. But I'm just gonna do it with scissors. So if you have some OK scissors, you can do this. I'm just gonna show you how to do one, and then after that, I'll do the rest. So the reason I'm doing this is just so that that corner piece doesn't like fray or doesn't get messed up in with time. You want rounded stuff when you do leather, things like that. End pieces. Okay, so it's looks like fuzzy chocolate. That's like weird looking. All right, so I'm gonna do the rest, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, for this next part, we're gonna drill the holes. One thing you can do, I'm just gonna eyeball it, but what I'm gonna do is basically drill holes with a 1/4 inch drill, 2 holes, and then 2 holes. So I want them like around here. I want to leave like a 1/2 inch of space in between the 2 holes, but you still want to leave enough leather on the outside so it's not like fragile. So you can draw some lines there where your belt is, and just drill holes up here. So I'll show you one, and this is like the kind of weird part. So if you think that it's dangerous, don't do it. So basically, stand up for this. And I want it like around, oops, I have to move this. I want it basically like around here. And this is going to leave a raggedy hole, but, you know, if you have punches, then, you know, use those. But this is something that everybody has, I think. Okay, nice. Not so bad. All right. So as long as you're above that line, you're good. And this is, yeah, this is good. This is good enough. So I'm going to do another one here. I'll do the rest, and then I'll show you. All right, so this is how it looks like. And next we're going to do the paracord. Now for this, you're going to need like, I think it's going to take a little bit, around 25 feet of paracord. So if you buy like 50 feet, you're good. But for my particular one, I need for something this long, I'm going to need around like 25 feet. It's around there. So, just as something like to keep in mind, even though it has this right here, this eyelet, I'm not going to be able to use this eyelet because I need space to actually put my my belt inside. Here, actually, let me show you that. I didn't show you that. So my belt goes in here. And then goes in here. And I forgot to say this too. These are going to be insanely tight when you first do it, and you have to do it that way, like super tight, because afterwards it loosens up. So these are already loosed up, but this is as loose as it gets basically. And you want it this to only be this loose, because you don't want this like sagging or nothing like that. Actually, now that I'm talking about this, the reason I don't use like tech lock and stuff like that, because there is things that you can use for horizontal carry. Tech lock is like that thick and it's rigid. So this, you have it up against your body, this moves with you. If it pulls, like let's say you pull on it, this moves with you too. So whatever you do, it's moving around. And that's what's good about it. So you do want it tight. It's going to loosen up, but it's still going to have movement to it, which is like super nice. Tech locks and those like clips and all that stuff. There's some that have leather loops on it, but that's for leather. And then leather stretches, I think would stretch more than this, but I found this to be the best for me. Okay. So you have to see what's in front of what's going to be in the way of your belt when you actually put it in. And if I were to use this first one here, even though it would be kind of hard to do, this would be super in the way. So I can't use this one. I have to use probably, this one. So I have to start with here, with this. And now, so the measurements that I found to be comfortable is, so from here, this is where the first loop, from here to the end of the handle, it's about 5.5 inches. So it's about to here. And then from here to here, from end to end, I'm actually going to have to do it from here. So basically from here to here, that's about 5.5 inches too. Wow. Okay. So about 5.5 inches, 5 inches. So from there to there. So I'm going to have to reproduce that here because it's what I found to be comfortable. So I'm going to measure out 5.5 inches. And actually, this is about close. So yeah, so I'm going to be able to use this guy here or down here. But I'm going to start with this because I don't want it moving around. So eyelets are better than these. But in the end, you'll see you might be able to use these two if you want to. Here's another thing too. When it does have things like this, there's going to be a lot of pressure being pushed down on these. And they're going to curve. So just from experience, But if you don't want that, and I'm not going to do this, I'm just going to put it right over it. I don't like these too much. Now, this is why, watch. Okay, oh wow, it did it. Huh, alright, never mind, it's doing it. What the? Usually, it's a super soft click, what I've found. Just, maybe, okay, that's just my, I only have one other knife, the new one. It's like a soft click, and I hate that. Because I don't know, when I push it in, I feel it stop, but I don't hear that click, so I don't have like the double reassurance, basically, that it's in there, that it's safe. I mean, it's not going to slip out, whatever. So you could, when you're wrapping it, you could put it through here so it doesn't actually put any pressure on top, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wrap everything the same. So, all right, the first thing you do is basically, I'm going to wrap it out to all the way to where I need it to be. So I said 5.5 inches, 5 inches from this point. And actually, let me measure those 5.5 inches out to see what eyelet I'm going to use when I finish it. So I'm looking at probably this guy right here, maybe this guy right here, or I can use this little slit here. So when I'm done the width, I'm probably going to finish it here. So alright, so first, just put in everything, all the knots I'm going to do, so I'm going to wear it up against my body like this. All the knots are going to be facing that way, are going to be out in that direction. So first, I'm going to put it through here. And I'll show you how to, that's the other thing too, I'm going to have to burn the tips on these, so just, if you don't feel safe, don't do it. That's just the thing in general. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start from the eyelet I'm going to start, and I'm going to end it. I'm going to wrap this, and I'm going to end it where I'm going to end normally. Just try to keep it straight, doesn't really matter. And then just wrap it. But, so let's say you wrap a few. Wrap a few, and then push it towards you. It doesn't matter if it's crooked. It's better to have more paracord than less in the end. So just keep wrapping it, and then I'm gonna do it all the way to where it's 5.5 inches, so all the way to this guy. And then after that, I'm gonna wrap back, and I'll tell you why in a second too. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll come back. All right, so I'm at the end here. I'm just gonna go right over this, and then what I do is I put it up against put the handle up against my stomach, and then just push it towards me. So flex those stomach muscles and then push it towards you. All right, just make sure everything's tight. And then I'm gonna go back. And each one of these tabs, because paracord is about 1/4 inch, each one of these tabs is gonna take 4 of those since it's 1 inch wide. So I'm gonna go back and, oops. All right. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna put a few of these over. So there's around 4, but I'm gonna go back about up to here basically. And in this part, okay, this makes it more flexible in a sense that you can. I'll show you. I think it's also. Let me finish this, and I'll show you what I mean. It's kind of probably easier. Sorry. So then, basically, I'll leave it up to here. All right. And just double check. So I did the same thing with this guy. So I had a lot of problems with this actually slipping. And what I ended up doing was I do a knot to the last eyelet I want, do a knot, and then I go back and then put it through another eyelet in between the paracord and do another knot. This also, it's flexible in a sense that you can move this. Like let's say your paracord goes all the way out here, and you can do double, and then you can actually put this here. Once you go double, you're gonna put it on the second layer. You're gonna put this leather on the second layer, so you can actually put this little square of leather wherever you want on the second layer once you add the second layer to it. So once I have, that is, let me just measure it. I think that's probably the easiest thing to do. It's about a little bit less than 2 inches. And I have about 2 inches here, I think. A little bit less than 2 inches. Let me go 2 more, just to be sure. I'd rather cut off an end than have problems later on. Okay, and I think that's enough. All right, yeah. So then now, this is all the paracord I need. I'm gonna cut this end. I'm gonna use my scissors. Oops. So. And then what I do to basically burn the ends on paracord. I know it sounds like a super simple thing to do, but this is something that actually works out for me. So what I do is I just try to burn it evenly. And I want a mushroom, basically. Like a caramel colored mushroom. And you want to make sure you get all the edges too, because you don't want it to mushroom and then have the edges come out so that they fray later on. Whoop. I think things running out of gas. There's it's a weird animal that's out there, and I have no idea what that is. I don't know if you can hear it on camera. He like squeaked like twice. So this kind of looks a little bit weird, but let me see. Let me get another, well, I'll do it with this lighter, why not? Oops. I have no idea what that thing is. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay. So yeah, this came out better. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to undo all this, and then I'm going to redo it with the leather tabs. So I'll show you in a second. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this, just for the first 2 tabs. So you want both of these tabs with the flesh. This is called the flesh side, the fuzzy stuff. You want it the fuzziness facing you, and you want it to face the sheath itself. You want the smooth part in the center, because it's gonna be a pain to put that belt through here. You'll see in the beginning, and then later on it's fine. So okay, the first way of doing this, well, the normal way of doing this would be, I'll show you how to do it. So first, one part's gonna go. You want one extra piece of paracord. And then, so we decided to put it here, right? So, actually, no, wait. Yeah, so, okay, so it's going to go like this. And this point is going to go here. So what you're going to do first is run this through your holes. All right. And I'll show you in a second what I'm doing too, so it's a little bit clearer. Alright. So it's going to look like this. So you run it through your holes, and you're going to give it a little bit of space. So I'm going to show you how to do it one way that's not confusing, and then I'm going to show you a confusing way of doing it, but it saves you a lot of time. So then after that, this is the hole we decided to use. I'm going to put it through this hole. And I'm going to make a knot. Yummy. Yep. Alright, so for the knot, what you want to do is you want, since you have a little mushroom on the end, you want that right up against that little mushroom. You want to like push it into it. So, but you don't want it over. You just want it to basically just tighten right up against it. My hands are all because of work. Oh. Alright, so it looks something like that. Now, here I'll continue it. So I'll continue this, and I'll get to the point where it would be harder, and then I'll stop there, and then I'll do it the other way. So the reason you need one is because the way this goes is you have one underneath, you're gonna have one that goes in the hole, and then you're gonna have two actually, never mind, two in the middle, and then one that goes through the hole. So there goes one underneath. All right, then I'm gonna run two. Oops, it has to be on this side. Make sure it's on the right side of your knot. So here's one. This goes underneath both pieces. One. Actually, so it isn't four. Sorry about that. So it's 5, 2, and then the third one is gonna run through here. So okay. And I'm not doing it that tight because I'm not gonna do this. So I'm gonna do it the other way. So now this has to go in this hole, out, and then in this hole, and then around, just like I did this one. And then so I can continue looping it. But the problem with this is I'm gonna have to run like 25 feet of cord right through this hole, and then 25 feet into this hole, and just so it's kind of a pain. So I'll show you a different way of doing this. So I'm gonna undo this knot, and I'm gonna restart it. All right. So the easier way of doing this, but it's more confusing, is so this is gonna loop, right? And it's gonna go 1, 2, and then the third one it's gonna go over. I mean, in here and that way. So it's gonna go like this. So I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna start from this hole and out, and I'm just gonna give this a ton of space. Well, you'll see. It's kind of easier to show you. I want to do it this way just so, I mean, anybody who's like confused with this sort of form, they can just do it the other way, and it'd be easier for them, so they don't have to like mess around too much. So, and I'll show you in a second too. So this time I'm going to do it on this hole, and I'm going to go right, but you'll see. This little piece, there's like an extra piece. Let me cut that off. There's a little piece there that the drill didn't get of leather. What the? Okay. Alright, so alright, so now I did the same thing, but I'm starting on the left side. And I'm going to give this space. I mean, some cordage. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the motions of what I would do, basically. So I'm going to go to the right instead. So 1, 1, 2, right, and then 3. So this is this is basically how it would be basically if I put this through here. That's how it would work. So this third one, I'm just gonna tighten this first. Nope, sorry about that. I'm gonna tighten this up because I gave too much. It's too much paracord, so I'm just gonna tighten it up a little bit. And then, okay, I'm gonna put this through here. Once they're kind of together, it's kind of a bigger pain. Putting the paracord through the holes. It gets a little bit tougher later on. All right. So now I'm going to actually, never mind, I'm going to run one more. No, I gotta do one more loop. Sorry about that. Okay. So I need one more loop. Okay, almost there. A little bit more space. A little bit more cordage, I mean. Okay. Alright, so this is the one I chose. The first one. I'm going to do that knot that I showed you before. Just a regular knot, but just make sure it's right up against the tip. That burnt tip. I mean, the reason for that too is it's smooth. It's nice and smooth, so it helps. Alright, so now I'm going to tighten everything. Yeah, it does look confusing. So I'll start with this guy. I'm going to turn it. And this is this guy right here. It might just be easier to do the other one, but I don't like. The problem is, like, let's say you run all that cordage through those holes, you always get like a bunch of like the cord starts getting like super twisted. Like whenever you run cord through a hole, it gets like super twisted. So I don't like that. I mean, it's just, to me in the long run, it's already gonna get like really like twisted anyways, but it just gets even more. Okay. All right, so, and then just gotta make sure this guy goes underneath. Okay. Gotta make sure everything's tight. Yeah, and then you look in the back, everything looks fine. Okay, cool. That's fine. So now you have your leather. This might be a little bit too thick. So maybe 7 ounces would be fine. But we'll try it. We'll keep going with this. So now what I'm gonna do, same thing I did before. I'm gonna go all the way up to the hole I chose, which is 5.5 inches about. And once I get there, I'll show you. Oh, before I forget too. you have to choose. Sorry about this. You have to choose a second hole to put it to put end the to end this whole thing on. So I'm gonna use this one later on, but to end it, I'm gonna choose this guy. So once you go back, you have to, and I'll show you. You have to choose a hole somewhere, and then put it through there, and then just end your whole little project. So I'm gonna choose this guy, and the way I'm gonna find where it's at, I'm gonna measure. I'll measure, just you can measure from anywhere, but I want to measure here from this hole. So when I do look for it, I know where it's at. And I'm gonna say it is about, let's just say from like 4 inches. It's about 4 inches. So when I do look for it, it's about 4 inches from this hole. All right. So now I'm getting close to the end here. And let me just show you. So let's see if I don't bump the camera too much. So you just turn, push it towards you, turn, push it towards you. Oops. And then once I get there, it gets kind of tricky. And then also make sure your line isn't, your paracord isn't like all twisted up too, because you kind of pay for it later on, because it's just well, it becomes a hassle while you're working with it basically. So every now and then you can get up and just like make sure it's all nice and loose. All right, so now that I'm here, all right, so this is kind of weird too, but there's no easy way of doing this. So this is the hole I'm gonna use. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over that hole. So I'm gonna go over it completely. Okay, so it's completely over. All right, there we go. See, completely over. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hold on. I'm gonna go back to, so this is, it's gonna be, the paracord is gonna go in through here and out through the other end. You want all your knots on this side, away from you. So I'm gonna hold on to 2. I'm gonna go back to, hold on to it. I'm going to loosen it up. All right. And then I am going to put it this way. So I'm going to loosen it up and put it this way. And I'm going to put the paracord through. Make sure it doesn't go in between anything else on the other side. So here, just to show you again. So I went past it. I went over it, so it's completely covered. Oops, I'm not going to undo it. So it's completely covered. I count 2 back, loosen it up, push it to the side. And then, or you can even do 3. Let me see. Actually, let's try that. Let's try 3. Alright, so I'm going to loosen these up. 1, 2, 3. Loosen them all up. Oops. Don't let them go over. Push them towards you. And then I'm going to put the paracord through here. And then you'll see what that does. Alright, so I'm just going to run it all through. And I'm going to put these back in place. So give it a bit of cordage and put these back where they go. And then you're going to pull on it. Make sure you're constantly holding these other the one you originally were. So all right. Okay, so I can let go now and look in the back. So make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. I'm going to pull on it. Okay. So what that does is it covers the hole basically. So it puts pressure. It puts pressure on the hole that you chose. Let me push these so they're not too. Okay. So it puts pressure on the cord that you have, so it doesn't slip. Basically, you're adding pressure to it. So after you do that, okay, you're gonna do a knot, just a regular knot like before. Just a regular knot, pretzel. And then you're gonna push this right up against here, but you want it, pull on it, you want it right towards the, basically as close as you can get to the eyelet. So, alright, so it's still nice and loose, and then scoot it up as much as you can. Okay, alright, that's okay. Cool. So now, I'm gonna go back, and this is gonna go in between these. So this is what causes it from slipping, basically. So I'm gonna go back a few, and then I'm gonna measure it and see where I have to actually start putting the tab in. So this is 5.5, so I got a little bit more to go. Just make sure everything's tight. That's the main thing. Okay, I think that's about fine. Okay. The bottom was like 4 inches, I said. So the hole's right here. So I still got space. Once I put in the tab, I need a little bit of space to the right so I can go back. The little hole I'm gonna use is around here to end everything. All right. So pull on everything nice and tight, and you can actually see it bend a little bit there. So if you're afraid of breaking this, just put it in this hole. When you do wrap it, start putting it in there, but that's a ton more work. You're gonna have to pull all that stuff through. All right. So wait up, let me measure it again. 5.5 inches, and then just to double check, the original, it's actually, so this one is going to be the bottom one, so the next one is going to be where the tab is. Yep, actually no, this is where the tab is. So okay, this is we're going to put the tab right there with this guy. Okay, so it's not a huge problem. Since the cord is so it's not a huge problem to like put all these through here, since it's such a small piece of cord. But my battery's running low, so I'm gonna be back in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna do the next part then. And so I'm just going to do just 2 turns. And you want to basically try to get it in between the other cord as much as you can. So that's 2. And this third one, okay. This third one is going to be the one that goes into these the little tabs. So for the first one, we're going to do the same thing. Get this. Okay, cool. We're going to do the same thing we did, same thing we did with the other one. So the shiny part, the smooth part is going to be up against each other. And I'm going to put it through this one first. Okay. If I can do that. Okay. All right. I'm just going to put this right up against this. Okay. Let's just check in a second. If the distance is correct. I'm actually not gonna use that eyelet I thought I was. I don't think I have enough paracord for that. So I'm just gonna look for that slot in here. So we said 5.5. That's a little bit more, but that's fine. Alright, so okay, cool. So we're gonna do 1. And then we're gonna put 2 underneath. So make sure they're right up against the other one that you already did, as much as you can. And then another one. Okay, and this third one, we're gonna go right through this other hole. And this is actually kind of a pain to do this, but you'll see why. Oops. Okay. That's the first one. And this is actually, I mean, this is going to be like close to basically what I need. So you might want to add a little bit more, probably like another foot of paracord when you do it. That's probably what I should have done too. All right, and then we do one more. And we're going to end it. Okay, this guy goes underneath. So if I would have added more, did I even use the right eyelet maybe? I don't know. Alright, okay, that's fine. So we're going to end it here. We're going to end it with this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to look for a place to put the to put this through. I'm not going to use I can't use the eyelet. I thought I had more paracord, but I don't. So we said it was 4 inches. That's way far away. So I'm going to look for here. This thing has slots, so I'm going to look for an opening, and I'm going to put this in there. So I'll do that, and I'll show you in a second. All right, so here's a little slot here, but it's kind of all right. So this is being held by the tab itself, so I don't have to worry too much about it loosening up. But every time I push it down, it goes up by itself. So I'm gonna do this off camera. I'm gonna push this down, and I'm gonna put this through, and then I'll show you in a second too. Right now. So I need to use both my hands for this. Okay, so you can see it's coming out on this side. Oh wow, it's coming out a little bit on this side. If you can see that. But it's super tight, which it should be. Okay, there's the tip there. If I can get it to go through. Kind of heavy. One second. I wanted to do this on camera, but let me see. One second. Okay. Got it. Alright. So this is the last part. Make sure everything's nice and tight. This has to go in. I actually loosened up while I was doing that. So make sure it's back in place. Everything else is cool. But I have to put this underneath where it belongs. Okay. Now, pull on this, and I'm gonna leave this. So this is like a crazy long cord, but, well, I'm gonna leave a bit. I'm not gonna leave actually all of it. It's kind of too long. I'm gonna tie this, same thing, same knot we've been doing. So go all the way here, and then scoot it up as much as you can. Okay, I'm just gonna push on it forward. Oops. Alright, there we go. So I'm gonna leave a bit there, and the reason I'm gonna do that is because in case something happens, like this isn't gonna get in the way. I can try to put it in between one of these, but I'm not gonna do that. That's weird. Is that weird? I can't do a knot here. Whatever. I'm going to leave about this much. So that lets you undo things and then do them back up again if you want to. So like, let's say if this distance isn't too good for me, like if I think this is too wide and I want to bring it down this way, I can undo some of this and then start from another hole and then do it. So I'm gonna cut it here, right there. Do the same thing with this. This thing's like super low on gas. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so these take a while to cool down too. So if I were to touch it now, it'd probably burn me. So I'll leave it there for a bit. Okay, now, so this is how it looks. That's fine now. So this is how it looks basically. And it still pulls out fine. There's no difference in that sort of sense. That actually clicks nice. That's weird. My other one doesn't. So yeah, so I'm gonna put it on in a second, and oh man, it is gonna be crazy. So here, let me actually show you that part. Touch this anymore? Okay, it's fine. All right, let me show you that. So to do this, Let me move this aside. Because this is crazy tight. And the reason you want like a stiff leather is that it's actually kind of easier to put this in there when it's a stiff leather. Because then you don't have something that's like flexing and getting in the way. It kind of helps. But, alright, so for this. Alright. Yeah, so what I did before it loosened up for my other one, I use, yeah, you're not really supposed to use this for that, but since it has a metal tip, I just push this in there and then push it across. I try to just wiggle it if I can. There it is right there. And yeah, you're probably thinking like, hey, what's, you know, how are you going to do this every morning? I'll show you in a second. Same thing. So for the other one, I mean, you saw me do it by hand. So it does loosen up to that degree. But in the beginning, it's always like this. Okay. And then we just wiggle it little by little. Okay. So there it is. So what I do is I don't take it off of this until it loosens up. And the way I put on my belt is here's the belt buckle I have. I just detach it and then loop it. I just use this end to loop everything where it's supposed to go. And then eventually it's going to take probably a week for this to loosen up or somewhere around there, depends on the leather. And then I'll be able to just do it by hand every morning. All right, so now I'm just going to put it on and I'll show you. All right, and this is how it looks done. So yeah, basically the same thing. Like that. This is how I wear it. This is how it shows. And then so if you do, it's fine. This one actually, this sheath is better than the other one I have. Weird stuff. But yeah, and here's the belt buckle on this side. So pretty much the same. All right. Hopefully this helped, or at least it was semi-entertaining. All right. Bye.